Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So tomorrow is Grand National Day, and for this analysis we're just going to look at the Grand National. We're not going to look at the other races. That's been sent to Premium and Pro members. Let's just look at the Grand National and go through those four that I like for this race. We'll go through them in betting order. You can see where they are if I order it by win odds. Starting off looking at Grange Clare West. Now, if you follow my analysis, you'll know I've been a fan of this horse. And we backed it last year in the Grand National. And to be honest, I think it should have won. I think if he hadn't dived at the final fence, I think he would have won. He lost some ground at that crucial stage, and yet still ran on strongly for third. I feel if he jumped cleanly over that final fence, he would have actually won it quite comfortably. And on the back of that, he would have gone up £3 or £4, and I would have said he had another good chance. So although he's up £3, I still think he's got another good chance. Patrick Mullins has chosen to ride him. I think that's a positive. It was a good performance, beating Jerry Colombe last time out at Fairyhouse. Obviously, Jerry Colombe won a moderate race at Down Royal next time. Yeah, I thought, obviously we were on Grange Clare West that day at the Fairyhouse as well, because there was no reason to not try and win that race. He did win it, and he travelled really well. I just think he needs to get round, and he'll go very, very close here, Grange Clare West. Yes, he's up £3, but that's nothing in the context of this race. I don't think that will be the difference, or it shouldn't be the difference between winning and running very poorly. If he finishes second and gets beat a neck, maybe it was the difference. But I don't think just going up £3 will stop him from being bang there, jumping that last again. And yeah, he's been my main tip all winter for the Grand National. We're on at bigger prices than what he is now. And I think he will run a really nice race here. The second horse that we like here is another Willie Mullins. We've actually got 3 Willie Mullins and 1 Gavin Cromwell. So we think the Irish are going to dominate this race. I think they had the first... Did they have the first 5 home last year? Well, I think Willie had the first 3 of the first... whatever it was. What did he have? 3 of the first 5 or 5 of the first 7? Something ridiculous. I'm just looking it up on my other screen. Willie Mullins had the winner, the second, the third, the 5th, and the 7th. So 5 of the front 7 and 9 of the front 10 were Irish trained. And so, second one I like, as I've mentioned, is Captain Cody. I like Captain Cody because one thing we know about this horse is he will definitely get the trip. He's won over 4 miles. He won the Scottish National over 4 miles, and he won it really impressively that day. He only won by length, and he went up and he's got to run off a £12 higher mark. But if you watched that race, he beat a fellow Willie Mullins horse that was that looked like it had a massive chance as well. And remember, Willie was throwing everything that day at different races because he was trying to win the trainers title in the UK. So he sent all of those horses that were very well handicapped. And Clark Kent, who had previously finished 4th in a Scottish National, backed that up by finishing 2nd. I don't think it was a poor result at all from Captain Cody. He beat, in my opinion, a very well handicapped Clark Kent. And he comfortably beat him. He travelled so well and quickened away. That was his run over 4 miles. They then, at the beginning of this season, dropped him back to 2.5. That instantly said to me they're aiming him at something. There's a handicap. Is it the Grand National? Very possibly. And they've never quite come back up to that sort of appropriate trip for him. 3 miles 2 is the furthest they went last time out, when he was 5th behind Grange Clare West, but was never put in that race. He's now back over a suitable trip. He's won a Scottish National. I think he's got a massive chance here. I expect him to be one that he's one that you'll know will stay the trip. Him and Grange Clare West, both of them will definitely stay the trip, and I think both are going to go really well for their respective riders. the third horse, now we move down to a couple that I think are overpriced. The third one is Cody de Borbon. I actually put this horse up for the Irish National on the back of finishing a very good third in a handicap at Leopardstown. He didn't go for the Irish National, he's come here instead. And to be honest, I can understand why. This time last year, he was actually running in the Irish National. He was finishing third when sent off the 11-2 favourite as a 6-year-old. And he's running here off just a £3 higher mark. And then you look at, okay, what did he get beat by that day? Well, he actually beat Johnny Who, the horse who was back in 5th, Johnny Who, has obviously franked that form. But in front of him was Any Second Now, the Ted Walsh trained national specialist. That was him finishing second in an Irish National, having finished second the year before in an Irish National, having finished second in the Grand National in 2022 and third in the Grand National in 2021. He's a national specialist, 4 places in nationals, and although he was 13, he was just a real national specialist, was Any Second Now. The winner was Haiti Kalur. What has he done since then? Well, he was winning that off a mark of 141. He's now rated 165 and runs here off a mark of 166. So he is up £25, whereas the third placed horse is up just 3. He wasn't that far behind him, was Cody de Borbon. And you've got to remember, Cody de Borbon ran in the Irish National last year because he wasn't qualified for this race because he was too young. He was only a 6-year-old. He's now 7. He's now in this race. He looks to me very much like these Mullins horses that run well in the Irish National and then go and run very well in the Grand National. I didn't understand the price. He's still a big price. You can still get 25s about him. You might even get bigger on the day tomorrow. I think he's going to go there. And if he jumps round, stamina would be his only question mark. But I think the fact that they've been trying him, or they ran him over 3-5 on soft, heavy, he ran fine, beaten by a ridiculously well handicapped horse and a national specialist. I think he'll go well. Cody de Borbon. And the fourth horse that we have highlighted here is Perso Legal. This horse is overpriced. This horse is very much overpriced. So, this time last year, he was being sent off the joint third favourite for the Grand National at 10-1, off a mark of 153. Well, this year, he's running off a £2 lower mark. What happened to him last year? He fell at the 9th. We have absolutely no idea how he was going to do. Considering he'd gone off 10-1 for a Grand National, he then dropped back in trip, went for a 3-mile 2 handicap at Newbury, the Coral Gold Cup, but went off 40-1 under Keith Donoghue. He wasn't there to win that, was he? He was just allowed to run that as a... That was just getting his mark down or keeping his mark steady, getting him a little bit of a fitness run. That was not him running for to try and win that race. If he were considering he went off 10-1 for a Grand National, next run in a Coral Gold Cup, he should go off 14s, 16s at most. Going off 40-1 for me suggests he was not there to run a race at all. And then they went to Tramore with him for a Grade 3. Again, he was never going to get involved in that, was he? It was a Grade 3, beaten by the subsequent Ryanair winner. Yeah, he wasn't trying there. That was just a fitness run. That was in January. They were getting him ready for a race. What race was that? It was the Grand National. So, if you backed him last year, he's done nothing this season, but he's done nothing this season to warrant not backing him again. He wasn't trying at Newbury, and I don't think he wasn't trying last time out either, over an inadequate trip. This is the only time that he's going to be trying. And yet, let's have a look at the prices. We can see that Perso Legal, who we're just talking about, is 33. So he went off 10s last year off a £2 high mark, hasn't been trying this season. Massive price. Cody Borbon, 25s. I think that's a very big price. I think he will run a really nice race. If he gets that trip as a 7-year-old, it wouldn't totally surprise me if he ran here, finished 3rd or 4th, came back next season off a similar mark again and went and won, just because he would be a bit older. He could be like a hedge hunter, go and win it on your 2nd attempt. But I think he'll run a nice race off this low mark. Captain Cody is currently available at 16s. I think that's fair. And Grangeclair West, you can just about get 10-1. Again, I think that's fair. I think he would have won it last year. The horses around him, they've kind of all moved up the same. And yeah, I think Grangeclair West will be the one at the head of the market and the head of the weight that runs the best this year under Patrick Mullins. So they are my 4 for the Grand National. Grangeclair West, Captain Cody, Cody Borbon and Perso Legal.